Well, welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Mike Briggs. We come here every once a week. We talk to different people about people in the news, people who are making news, things that are happening now. I was on the city council for a while, went to the state legislature. When I was in the state legislature, I turned to one person, my friend Varoujan Der Simonian, to get a lot of input on Armenian issues, a lot of different issues. Why is Armenian heritage so important here in Fresno?
Good to see you, Mike.
Good to see you.
Yes.
I'm just jumping right into the question.
No, it's good. Good to see you. Well, Armenians have been in Fresno or Valley for about 145 years. Mm-hmm. First, Armenians arrived in 1878, and then later on, of course, in the 1880s, gradually they moved in here. Right. The heritage is important because it is part of the Valley. Mm-hmm. Yes, ethnically we are different than, let's say, Hispanics or the blacks or the Germans or the Italians, but we are part of this fabric. Yeah. So when we talk about Fresno, we're talking about the multicultural society, which Armenians are part of it.
And goes way back, 1880s in Fresno.
Yes. The first one came in 1878. It was so hot, you ran away. It was the Yanigian brothers, actually. Then later on, Seropian brothers came in 1881. They settled it. And, of course, they brought their cultures with them, specific in agriculture, as you know.
Now, did the valley lend itself to what Armenians were used to?
They were, as far as in agriculture, correct, yes. And it was very fitting for them to see an area which is very familiar to them. So they started growing melons, grapes, and figs, and so forth, and that's how they grow.
Right. It's so important to preserve that heritage. Not just Armenians, but it's people from Mexico that came.
Sure they did.
People from Ireland that came, and a lot of people came and really contributed to shaping and making Fresno what it is today. In fact, you're instrumental, and I think you're still involved in the museum.
Yes, I am.
What's the name of the museum?
Armenian Museum of Fresno, which we started in 2001 here in Fresno. Thanks to you, by the way, with the first grant that we received from the state of California. It was 20 years ago. We're still going. It was a small token of funds, which is still dragging right now. Okay. We are right now housed at UC Center on Shaw and doing very well. Thanks for the UC. We have a great pleasure to have there. We exhibit art year-round. We have educational panels. It's open to the students and anybody. We've got about 95 educational panels talking about the history of Armenia. Basically, 20th century history is condensed there, referring to the Armenia-Turkish relationship, Armenia-United States relationship, goes back to 1919 when the United States opened an orphanage in Armenia, saving 150,000 orphans. Wow. And then the Russian-Armenian relationships all are in the UC buildings on the walls. It's open to the public. You guys can come and learn. On top of that, of course, we have fine art exhibitions of at least 200 plus paintings right now on the walls.
Wow. So it's preserving the history, not just of the Fresno Armenian experience, but all the way back to the...
It does, yes. Well, since we're 5,000 plus history, we have to present where we are, where we came from, where we're right now. Of course, one of the exhibitions which we did in Sacramento had to do the reasons why the Armenians came to California, and of course, our contribution to the valley. To name few contributions, if I may say, William Sloyan, which basically put Fresno on the map of the world. Rosback the Syrian, the guy who started the Chipmunks. He's from Fresno, guys. And then Cher, she's from Fresno. Cher. And then the System of the Down, that crazy metal music that sometimes we run away.
I didn't know we had a connection.
There's a connection there also.
Armenian?
Yes, they are. Yeah,
wow.
Valley connections also. So Valley did contribute a lot to the U.S. culture in general.
Yeah, not just Fresno culture, but the whole United States.
Correct.
Now, when I was on the council, there was something about some houses we were trying to preserve, something historic about the Armenian heritage in Fresno.
Well, it was 1998, I believe, the first time when the city was approached to revitalize downtown section, where the downtown is referring to M and Santa Clara corner, where you got two Armenian bakeries and the church, Holy Trinity Church. That section was neglected for years. A developer came with a concept of redeveloping that area and calling the development itself Old Armenian Town, just like when you have a development called the Fashion Fair, Manchester, River Park. This was going to be called Old Armenian Town Center, mainly being office complexes.
Right. And Now, a lot of it exists. Maybe one of the bakeries, I'm not sure.
There's only one bakery left. Yes, the other one, unfortunately, during COVID, high quality closed down.
Yeah, that's too
but
bad.
Valley Lavash, they're celebrating
Valley Lavash.
100 years this year, by the way. They're celebrating this year. It's still there on corner of M and Santa Clara.
And the beautiful, beautiful church is there.
Thanks, yes.
And
yes.
that's a treasure for Fresno, for
It
all of
is.
us.
It is treasure and also part of the National Registry of Historic Places. In addition to the Valley Registry, it's also on a national registry, so we cannot take it down. I have to appreciate two individuals for that, late Lucy Gavijan and architect Robbie Antoyan, who were instrumental in putting the church onto the National Registry
Oh,
of
that's
Places.
good,
Yes.
yeah. Now, the houses, did something happen?
The houses, that which is in the news right now. If you had read the paper, I had a column because the city council unexpectedly voted on to sell the homes to a developer for the peanuts, for $66,000, and then loaned them $1.2 million to develop into a project. Initially, when the development was presented as a development center, the homes were not part of it. Certain individuals came thinking that we have to recreate Armenian town, which was not the original
Just the
plan.
name of a
It's
business
the name
park
of it, yeah.
or something like that.
And of course, the developer made an honest comment that we just want to name it because there it is. From immigrants, we came and built something nice. Some individuals took that as, no, we have to rebuild the old Armenian town. Forced the city and the developer and the certain RDA to save those homes, which we did not take part of it at all. And when the city was forced to preserve them, there was a fire station on the corner. The homes they were resettled in that location. And at the time when I was chairing the church board, we asked the RDA to fence it, which they did with the right item funds, to preserve it because they spend a lot of money. And then, since this was not going to be part of any development, but was forced on the city, we made a proposal that let's convert those 5 homes to a 5 hometown museum,
Okay.
with the concept of any development comes in the future, be that high-rise offices or whatever, this could be part of that development because, quote unquote, we're part of it now. The idea was there to convert each home to separate galleries. One, for example, dedicated to William Saroyan, which was across the street where he used to live. Other one, rotating exhibition and the contribution of the valley. And one of the homes, which I proposed to the city, was to convert to the ethnic makeup of the valley. In other words, to have each of our ethnic groups present their lifestyle at that particular home each year.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
One year will be an Armenian, the other will be Irish, Scottish, British, Italians, Germans, Japanese, French, Spanish, doesn't matter. Each year we'll convert that home something uniquely valley related. The other 4 will be more focused on Armenian, but then one home will be rotating as far as the valley culture is concerned. Well, the proposal, first time I talked to him was 2010. I think I made several proposals to different mayors, the previous mayors, not the current one, and to the RDAs. I met them several times. They listened to it, but never action. No action was taken. Their goal was to basically bring up businesses there, for example, architect, attorneys, and so forth, to be housed in those 5 homes. Well, 12 years, nothing was done. Actually, probably nobody was interested.
But whether they take your proposal or they put in architects and attorneys, they're preserving the facility.
Correct.
Any would preserve it.
Excellent. And then I thought, okay, if we're preserving and bringing, by doing the 5 homes more like a museum, my thought was we're revitalizing that portion of town, attracting businesses as far as tourists coming into the valley, because after all, we are presenting our culture,
Yes.
meaning the valley culture there.
Yeah.
So that proposal was not acceptable, or at least was set on the RDA desk for years. As you know, you're a former council member. Council members do serve as a board of directors
right.
on the RDA. So as much as the director, executive director is responsible, so are the city members are responsible.
Yep.
What proposals coming to the city? It is their responsibility to study any proposal in front of them, and they make the best judgment what's the best for the city.
And it's very public.
Very public.
Yeah.
I made an offer to do it. I didn't go to the papers in ahead of time because when you're negotiating, you will do it privately,
Yes.
quietly, to come to an understanding. But I was shocked a couple of weeks ago when they all of a sudden, it was on the agenda. I tried to get on the Zoom to make comment, was not. So I wrote a letter to every city council member. According to their instructors, they were supposed to read it. I do not know if they read my letter. It was Thursday night, Friday morning, early morning hour. I got up 4 o'clock and I wrote my column to the Fresno expressing what happened.
And they sold it, or they're going to sell those houses?
To what I know, was sold. Is it final or not? I do not know. I have not received any comment back from the city.
Okay, we're going to look into it here at Central Valley Talk. We're going to find out more.
Why not? It is the
I
right
just-
of the people to know how city makes those decisions. Is it the best interest of the city to have those two?
And it should be very public. Though.
Correct.
Very, very public.
You
a lot of
served on the city,
discussion.
you know that.
Nothing should ever happen in one quick meeting. It should go, 3 or 4 meetings, bring it up, some public hearings, then take the next
Very
step.
much so.
My life has been about historic preservation. Before I was on the council, my dad did the Mukes home. He worked for
Yes.
the city, preserved
Wonderful.
the Mukes home, and we fought for preserve historic structures. We're going to look into this some more. So
That's Muxum is a beautiful model, for example.
It's a good
You
example.
go in there, you see the beautiful architect and the lifestyle of that time.
Yes.
And so the same
It's our
concept,
heritage.
it is our heritage,
heritage.
absolutely. And have one of the homes to present different ethnic background. Why not?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
We're almost out of time, but very quickly, I just want to make note there's something going on in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey. It's hard. I look at the maps. It's hard to tell what is what and where is where, what used to be where. What's going on there?
That is a very, the roots of that problem goes to 1870s. When Sultan Hamid II, as is known as Red Sultan, came to power of Islam at the Ottoman Empire, he made a comment that because of the Armenian issue was too much at the time, was in the center of the European and Russian and British conflict, they were trying to provide more freedom to the Armenians within their homeland. So Sultan Hamid's opinion was that if there's an Armenian issue, hell, we'll get rid of them.
Is that
There'll
when
be no more salt
the
issue.
genocide?
This is way before the genocide.
Way before the genocide.
At the same time, Russian foreign minister makes the comment that if we want Armenia, we just need an Armenia itself without the Armenians, only one Armenian. And then German professor also promoted the concept of getting rid of the Armenians, moving away from there. So all those came in 1896.
Okay.
Based on that philosophies or thoughts, the concept of the genocide was developed and then took place from 1909 to 1923, losing about 2 million Armenians. What's happening now is the continuation of the same philosophy, but the Turkish and Azeri governments have adapted and carrying that on. If you had followed the news of the 2020 war, or 44-day war, and followed on this year in September 13 and 14, unprovoked attack on throughout Armenia, that tells you that exactly they're following the same policy of wiping up Armenia from the earth and the and the Armenian culture from that part of the world. It is very clear to me, and I wrote an article in the Beyond that also. I'll be happy to share it with you. And if the audience are interested, I'll be very happy to go on details on that. It's very much.
Varoujan warned me in advance, because Mike, I don't think we'll have time to go into that, but I just wanted to touch on it a little, so we now have a little better understanding. You see the news, and it's just a second on the
Yes.
news, and you think, what is that? The Armenians? Because we love Armenians here.
Thank you.
I think Fresno really does.
Thank you.
And so I see just a little bit. So we're going to have you back. We're going to talk a lot about that if you don't
discuss
mind.
it. No question. And definitely I'll be happy to connect it from 19th century, 21st century, what is really going on.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
not.
happy
It's
to.
just one long thing.
It is long thing, yes, and
Okay.
it could be presented to audience simple ways that you can understand
Right.
what's going on.
Just keep watching. That's important. The whole world watches right now. Keeps
Yes.
an eye, know
Yes.
what's going on. Comment. Don't be afraid to comment and get involved. There's some bad things going on for Armenians.
Very much so.
And
Very
it's
much
very
so.
unfair. It's horrible.
Yes.
Let's just say that. So, our guest is Varoujan Varoujan Der Simonian from the Armenian Museum of Fresno. My old friend, by the way. Go to the Armenian Museum of Fresno.org to find out what exhibits they're having, what speakers are having, what art they're having. It's fascinating all the time.
Tomorrow for Art Hop night. Tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock will be open to the public. We're on 550 East Shaw. It says University of California Center. Come on over.
Is that about Millbrook area?
No, it's across from Fashion Fair by Mariposa between Bank of America and Man West Heart.
Of course.
Right on north side, right there. Come on over. It's open to the public. Enjoy it. There are about 200 paintings there.
Nice.
There's some great artwork. You guys are going to enjoy it.
This is the second Thursday Art Hop.
Tomorrow,
Are
yes.
you always open on the second Thursday Art Hop?
We're open year-round. As you see, is open from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. But on Art Hop afternoons, we call it because we close at 6. We're open 3 p.m. the third Thursday from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m.
Very good. Thank you, Varoujan. I'm
was a
always
pleasure,
happy to
Mike.
have you here.
Thank you
One
so
of my
much.
oldest friends in the world right here, Varoujan Der Simonian. We'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.
Come on over.